Music.
Brick by brick by brick by brick by brick.
I own 100% of Barstool Sports. The sun, the moon, the Milky Way. It is getting so close, I can taste it. We can take a bite out of it. This is exactly, and I mean exactly, why Barstool Sports has to exist. It has to.
All right, it is Tuesday, August 29th. We are live from Barstool Radio, Barstool HQ. We are at a Grudgment Day level vibe, I would say.
Well, the timing of it just happened.
So you're hot right now.
Yeah, because Nate, that fucking dweeb, comes fucking slinking into my office. He's like, I have a question. So I've been very clear. Anybody who's paid attention, we are going to have layoffs and cuts, and they've started, and it sucks. And people who know me from the beginning, I hate firing people. You can be incompetent, not work, and I generally don't fire because I hate it so much. It's the worst thing to fucking do. Having said that, we're in a position, it's a no-brainer. It's not like I have that moral, well, you can't do it, because nobody will have jobs. We'll all not have jobs. So we have to get back to a break-even thing. We're losing a lot, and it sucks. And we laid a guy off, Matt Fitzgerald, who was hired to be a newsletter guy, which never got developed, but it sucks. Sure, he's a great guy. I actually couldn't pick him out of a lineup, which hurts when we're going down, and I don't know who it is, but we're looking at whatever. So it sucks. I'm sure he's a great guy. Nobody wants to do it. Nate comes slinking in my office. Hey, you fired one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. It's like, what the fuck do you want me to do? And he's like, so this just means, he blogs all. He's like, we just don't care about the blog. I guess we won't blog the NFL anymore. And it's going on, and Pat heard it. It's escalating. It's like, no, we're still going to fucking blog the NFL, you fucking rat fuck. People have to step the fuck up. I don't want to lay anybody off, but the last thing I want to do is, when we have to, is have Nate be like, you ruined his life. He's one of the good ones.
Did you say that?
No, you didn't say
okay.
that. You did say, he's one of the good ones. I guess we just don't care about the blog. No, we fucking care. We have 1 million people still. Someone else blog on the weekends. Like, we just won't blog on the weekends. I had to call Gaz because he does the NFL. So I called Gaz. I'm like, what? We don't have the NFL? We just laid off the NFL guy who I don't even know? And, well, maybe you have to blog on the weekend, Nate, you fuck. Like, how about that? How about get in earlier than I don't even know where he went. To the other side. He had his one fucking moment. Like, what did you want me to do? Yeah, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't need a guilt trip. I don't want to lay anybody off. He's one of the good ones. I guess we don't care about the blog anymore. No, we fucking care. It's your job. We have 1 million people. Someone else, hey, cover on the weekends. We all got to be like, do more, not less. It's not like, oh, we're going to have issues. I get it. There will be issues because people have been let go, and things will break. It's like, oh, we actually need that. I get that. But we're going to have to figure it out. But this attitude of, I guess we're done with the NFL. Matt Fitzgerald's gone? We can't cover the NFL anymore?
Now, when I said to him exactly everything you said of like, listen, Dave doesn't want to do this, and the last thing he needs is somebody.
Nate!
Right. But then Nate kept saying to me, that's not what happened. You don't know the circumstances. You know the details. I'm like, what are the details? You didn't want to talk out loud about it? What?
That is the details.
No, I just didn't want to talk out loud to Kevin about it.
But, okay, but I mean...
I'm telling the story the real way.
But what are the details that make it so different?
He said he just didn't want to talk about it loud. He says hi on page views, which I get, but there's like, I asked him, and again, Matt Fitzgerald, I'm like, well, was he this spectacular? Was he KB or like some great writer? He's like, no, he just worked hard, which is great, but it's like he's kind of new. He was hired for something else. What are we supposed to do?
It's not anything against Matt Fitzgerald, but if you're a company going through layoffs, people like Matt Fitzgerald are going to be the first people to go.
Yeah, the newer that doesn't.
You're a good blogger, but we don't know you. You don't have a show. You don't have a franchise. I think Matt Fitzgerald would understand.
He called him a robot.
That's.
He used the word robot 100 times. He's like, he was a robot. I'm like, we can't replace a fucking robot with the people out here.
That's the argument for.
Yeah, he's like, he was a robot. Well,
I get what he means. He works hard. Like he's a robot.
But that was making me madder because we can cover for a robot. It's like, oh, the robot's gone. We can't cover NFL. He was one of the good ones. He kept saying he was one of the good ones.
If he was a one-of-a-kind personality that you can't replace. Fine, but a robot is literally.
That's literally what I said. It's like we better be able to cover for losing a robot because we have to. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, there was a time where everybody covered the NFL because you covered your team, and we didn't have just one person. You know.
To say we lost a robot, and he meant that in a positive way, so we can no longer cover the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
It is a little disconcerting. You hate to be like the old days, but it's like we can't find someone to blog on Sunday.
Yeah, right. That's what. That is literally what he was saying to me.
But he's also from the old days already.
It's literally what he.
It used to be like fun. You know, it's like I wanted to do this shit.
They weren't knee-jerk reaction blogs on Sunday. It's like, hey, this was a funny missed field goal, right?
Yeah. Look at the guy in the crowd, whatever.
And like I don't get it. Like we can't figure that out. I feel like people be rushing right now. I got it. I'll take care of it.
Totally.
Like that. I sent the email. It's like. Layoffs.
There's going to be an influx of people right now because of this. There's like, I'll cover all your NFL right now for like $0.
It's crazy. Every time I criticize people, I get, we're not hiring. They almost don't get we're not hiring, or else we wouldn't be laying off.
Right.
But it's like I'll be flooded now with, I'll replace everybody. It's just, it was quite infuriating. He got me. I went from calm in a pretty good mood in there to quite angry.
When I came in, I was coming down the stairs.
And then I was mad at this too, the setup, because nobody recorded it. And I knew, even though it was dead genuine, it was great content, but they've moved Austin to fucking Siberia, so he has no idea when people are coming in and out of my office.
Right.
I don't know where Bubba was. He was fucking, I'm like, what are you, I'm like, Liam, I'm like, what the fuck have you been filming all day? Fucking Rico on something that's already being filmed? Like, is that, because what is going on?
You pointed, there was like where the camera and the TV were. You said, I want Austin's desk right here. And I grabbed TGA and I said, move those right
I went
now.
upstairs.
I said, we'll do the fucking show from the corner with a phone if we have to today. Move this shit and put a desk there right now.
I knew the conversation with me and Nate people would love, because it was like very real, and it was very it was actually business stuff, and it was like genuine, and I was had steam coming out of my ears. And Austin's pretty good at usually but they have him now on the other side of the fucking office, so he doesn't know when things are happening. Right. There was no stool scenes.
Now he's just on it's just this one desk. That's great. Little tiny desk.
And then I went upstairs. I'm like, who fucking moved the desk? And I don't know anybody up there. There's 3,000 people up there. No wonder we're losing money. There's so many people up there.
Well, I said to Nate, and I think it's not just a Nate thing. I think it's everybody. Like, there always has been a big disconnect, but I think more than ever, like, people don't understand the business side of it and how much, how much you take on and how much there is to do. Like, and I caught a glimpse of it over the last few weeks where it's like, if people knew everything, I don't think anybody would ever fucking say peep, but they don't know the full details, and they probably won't, because there's just certain things you're not privy to when you're not at a certain level. But everybody should know if you're going to go around complaining about layoff. I mean, just look at the track record. Who has Dave ever fired?
I don't.
He hates doing it. We had an award called most likely to not do any work and keep your job for 20 years at the fucking show, because that's what he does.
And I'm sure it's like unfair that Smitty's here and Matt Fitzgerald's gone, but that's life. Smitty's been here for fucking 2 decades, and he has I don't have to do shit, and I'll probably be safe. Like Smitty the other day, by the way, all time, when he's like, I may not renew my contract. Dude, it's not up for 3 years. Shut the fuck up, Smitty. I actually looked. I'm like, he's not going to renew? Who the fuck is he kidding? He's got the golden ticket from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka over here. You're not going to renew, Smitty? Please. Please.
Will you keep Smitty forever?
I don't know.
At this point, it almost is a bit. You have to.
Well, yeah, but
he's almost truly locked in, because you can't just end that joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's lucky that he's not up right now.
Yeah, that would be a different story.
But it sucks. Laying off people is truly the worst thing. It's part of the fucking reason I took the company back.
Right. That's what I said to Nate, and I think it was on Stool Scenes. I think somebody did capture it. I was like, if you knew how many people were saved over the last like month.
We can't save them all.
Right,
It's like
at some point reality sets in. But my thing is also like, let's play it out logically. Nate goes in there. Is there a world where Dave goes, oh shit, you know what, you're right. Let me call Matt back and tell him he's unfired. Like, what is this guy?
I'll walk the plank real quick. I do
careful,
tip my
bud.
cap to go in a bat for your guy. If Matt Fitzgerald's Nate's guy,
He said he was going to do that, so he did.
It is his guy because it creates less work for him. That is why he is his guy. Because it's not a.
That's hard to disprove.
It's
also, I would
it's not
very
a,
much advise against making Matt Fitzgerald your guy.
Well,
I would hold that card until it's like
it's not
Hugs
a
or,
not a
something
fair
like that.
world. Like Matt Fitzgerald was up against it because he came in a time when I'm not really here, so I don't even know really who he is.
Yeah.
I didn't hire
I
him.
expected to hear a name that was going to like break my heart the way
Yeah.
it was happening.
No.
I was like, oh,
Those
okay.
people, for better or for worse, who I clearly know who you are, it's easier, human nature, to let somebody go that you don't know than somebody that you have a relationship with. That's the unfortunate world we're in, and he got caught up in that. He also is dead ass wrong. He's like, he was hired to be a blogger. No, he wasn't. He was hired to do the fucking newsletter by Stu, and we don't even fucking do it anymore.
A gambling newsletter.
Yes.
So we're not.
I thought Stu Feiner. Okay.
No.
I'm working for Stu Feiner.
No, I
Do
mean,
you get it at all, Nate? You're just sitting over there. Do you get why I got mad? Like, who wants to hear laying off is the worst? The, like, first guy, and he's a good guy. Why'd you have to? He's a good one. He's one of the good ones. It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's great.
I bet you though, if you asked Matt Fitzgerald, like, hey, what do you think like is your future at Barstool? He probably
Once
like,
all
tenuous
this,
at best. Like,
yeah,
you know, like I hope to be
He
this.
has a brain. He understands.
I
Do you
bet
know who he is?
I don't think he's ever.
I know like the name. I don't think I could pick him out of a
This is
Was he
probably
in the
most- this is
office
most
every
attention-
day?
No, I don't think he works here.
I think
He's
yeah.
remote.
Came in maybe a handful of times. He'd
He's remote.
Yeah. Yeah, like.
Like, have you heard what I've said about remote? Like, we want people here. I know I've said that 100 times.
I'm sure Matt Fitzgerald, even before all this, was like, hey, listen, I don't even work in the office. All I do is blog. I hope to be a part of it. I'm lucky.
He
you know
knows
what
it's
I mean?
not personal.
Yeah.
I think he's, and I think we use Riggs. I always use Riggs because he's so boring. He's like a human rain delay. I do know him, but he's like, Nate, he's like, should I just tell Riggs not to blog then? It's like, what are you talking about?
Human rain.
But also, Riggs is. I mean, we've been saying this the last few weeks. If you're on Dave's radar and you have like a bad nickname, it's almost better than not knowing him at all. So Riggs will be around so that every time you rant about this, you can point to Riggs.
And Riggs has been
You know?
around too.
But what,
Yeah, and that's the
but
thing.
what
Riggs
drove
has
me
had
nuts
some-
is he was saying like we don't value work
Blogging.
and page
Yeah,
views.
yeah,
Like,
that's-
oh, so Riggs shouldn't blog now because we got rid
It's
of
like
it
you
now?
should blog more.
Right.
You all should blog more.
That correct, and that's what I
And
said.
also,
What
by
do
the
you
way,
think
you should
the-
be an opportunity, not like a negative thing. It should be like, now I'm going to cover the NFL.
What do you think the moment was? Not moment, but like, what do you think caused everyone to stop blogging?
Well, I think it's a combo, to be honest. I think other mediums
Right.
became like successful.
But they were. I
It's
feel like-
easier to talk.
Yeah.
Like blogging, I still think is weirdly the best way to connect with an audience. Even when I've written it, people like them. But it's a grind.
But I feel like there was obviously like everyone started doing podcasts, but then I feel like there was a level where people like knew people who came here who should have been blogging.
And they just didn't.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just like when you got here, when you were a blogger. Like
Yeah.
You and I feel like I think it
It's
was
also
the
distracting
new
as
office.
fuck out here.
Yeah.
Like back in Milton, we didn't really talk to each other. We just sat in our little areas.
That's the dream.
Well, it became,
And like,
it
and you
became
were
like-
remote, and
yeah.
Dan, so it's
I mean, I
like,
was just sitting in a fucking room. by
yeah,
myself,
that's you just are in your own world doing your here. There's
But
little
even like post New York after Milton, I think like everyone, not just like I think like new employees came and blogged, and I think it was this office, not the old office, where people came and like no one even thought. Like I know I've talked to Nate before about like trying to get people to blog, and he's like, I just can't. Get
I would
people to
say
blog. don't know.
there's a couple things. One, I also think we grew so big and the industry of blogging and personalities grew so big. Like we used to say we could sit on a story or a video and every blog would be good. It got to the point where it's like if you want to have a new blog, you're blogging some trash. You know like there's so many bloggers who got good stories and good videos ahead of you that you're not blogging the things that like jump out at you. You're just blogging to blog. I also think it's like if you do a podcast, there's like 4 or 5 ads on it at XYZ dollars, and it makes money. Whereas the money.
Yeah, it's not only that.
We used to do banner ads.
I
and
also
skin takeovers,
think
and that
people
kinda
start
went away.
looking. It's like, oh, I do a podcast or do this, and that's like my job. Like I have out and about, and like, all right, there's like, what do you do?
Couple hours a week.
Where it's not like a full time, and I'm not just saying that, but anything. There's more going on. But to me, blogging can be a lot of things. Like I'll use. When it was fewer people had defined ownership over categories.
Yes, that's what I think disappeared. It was
if you look at the Tank, who doesn't necessarily sit down and write, he has created like clear ownership of the Mets and his shtick, and people, regardless if it's the written word, they're going to him for reactions.
Yes.
To me, that's the same. But there's like people out here, like they haven't carved out their lane where like. I've complimented him a bunch, but Robbie Fox, MMA like
nerd
it's
stuff.
always, he's never late on
Any of
it.
that.
And that's it, and he's created the
But
lane.
you have to do that. Like that doesn't
Correct.
Just, you have to take that. That's why I
takes
said it's an
time,
opportunity.
too.
You want to like.
Correct.
Bob wants to write about MMA and Star Wars every.
And you
fucking
can't
time.
miss it at all.
Ever.
Like when
Not once.
I was at the prime of like Patriot, I didn't miss a like
Nighttime,
it was
weekends, all of it.
5 seconds after something happened, I was there. Whether it's a video, whether it's writing it, whatever it was, it's out. So
There was a time though. There was like a transitional period where I remember like I would do a podcast, I would sit down, I would start to write a blog, and that exact story would go up, and I'd be like, all right, fuck. And that happens a bunch of times in a row, and eventually it just, you know.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of other things going on. I think there's a lot of people who probably shouldn't, have that, or they should just blog it anyway. Like fuck, like the whole reblog thing.
Yeah, I've
back
never
in the
thought
day.
the reblog-
Who fucking cares? Different
Yeah.
personalities, different
Yeah.
takes. So there really is no excuse. I can understand reasons why it happened, but there's no excuse to, especially now. I've been trying to talk to people, being like, because you've given a few speeches and a few rants now, and I'm like, but no one's changing.
yeah,
anything.
right.
I'm like, you guys aren't. Come in and do shit, because it's here now. Like,
But I mean,
it's no more fucking around time.
We go the old days, and they'll never be the old days. I get that, but it's like I couldn't be. If someone talked to me for 5 minutes, I felt like I was behind my whole. Like it was every half an hour, a blog was coming. I was sitting there like.
That's why it's a grind, though.
Yeah,
It's like you gotta
totally
spend a few minutes finding it, a whole bunch of time writing it, and then it just starts all over again.
Even Rico's a weird example. It took me forever to get him to blog, and now he's blogging, but it's going up, and people are like getting more attention. It's just you have to like. It's a time-consuming, hard thing to do.
Do you think we've done a bad job of of highlighting those people though? Like if we pointed out like this guy's a star writer and he got more followers and he got more of a fame, if you will, those people would do it more. It does feel like a thankless job, I will say. Right now, it's like you probably get a handful of page views that you don't even know how high they are, and you don't get much of a following, and you don't get an attaboy, and we've never been that company,
Yep.
but it is a pretty.
Yeah, that we probably sucked at, but to me that's like a Nate and Gaz and me, I guess, issue, because if something's great, we should get it out. Like
But
blogs still go out.
Yes, but it's just
actually-
like, pardon my take is like you guys are rock stars now. If there was a blogging equivalent of that, I guess that's what we all were. Back then you got shine, now you don't. And that's not like,
I don't
maybe we
know
should
that.
create that,
Yeah,
though.
I don't know that there's
Is
new.
there a way to highlight that, profile that? We put you on the podcast. You get a shout out on radio. I don't know, because then maybe people would do it more. I don't know. It shouldn't even take that, but I would rather try to fix it. Than
Yeah, I do think if you write great blogs and they're promoted correctly, you'll start seeing the same traction that you've seen in the other.
Well, look around. Who do you think right now in the industry is a great writer? It's hard to say, right?
Yeah, because it's changed so much.
I think that's kind of the point, though. Is it's like you're telling people to. If you start your career and it's like I want to make money and make a name for myself, it's probably not the best angle to go. But if we incentivize it higher, maybe, you know what I mean? Because who is a good writer right now that is as a writer,
What does that even look like? Incentivize it higher here. It's like you get tags on a tweet when your blog goes out. It's like, what does
Maybe
that
a
even?
And
bonus
that's
of
just
some
that
sort.
only happens on ones they know they're gonna get fucking crushed on.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
By the way, this was fucking Nick who wrote this.
Because then if you're like, all right, if you do a good blog, we'll pay you more. then 1,000 people are writing shitty blogs trying to chase.
Well,
trying to chase a
that
dollar.
is the thing too. I was like, why don't we make a quota? But then it goes quantity over quality.
See, I don't
So then
know.
I said,
See,
why don't we do page views?
I
Then
still think
and they
real-
said they just put up tits and ass.
Real
So it is like-
eyeballs matter. Like real eyeballs, regardless of the medium. If it's blogging, and a real eyeball isn't necessarily just that ass or just a gallery or like cheap, but people are like laughing and reading along and feeling connected. If you have that, you can then figure out ways, if it's not strict advertising, it can be merch, it can be whatever, to like leverage your following. Like I've written just a couple blogs, and obviously I'm not the best example because I already have like the profile, but I've noticed like I can feel the reaction to the written word.
Oh, yeah.
Almost more than I can.
And
with
I would almost
other
say everybody here, I think, is still better. Their best is writing. Their best talent. You know?
But it takes me a long ass time.
It's weird.
That's
you
what
know?
we used to say about back when we did like real radio. We just talked in there for 2 hours, and I don't even know anything I said. It doesn't seem to have like
Kinda
90%
blah, blah,
of the time,
blah.
It was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have much reaction. Every time you write something, it's
It
getting
sticks.
a reaction.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, that's
it
all the
stays
stuff
forever.
we get in like trouble is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
written
the
word.
written
Like
word
the
is-
written word stays and sticks and it's there. And it's hard. I've always said it's really hard to write good short. Like
Yeah, brief,
it's a time
paragraphs
consuming
and you're done.
over and over and over.
It does feel good though if you write like a good blog.
Well, that was the
Oh,
other
it
thing
sticks.
is like, you know, you write a bunch of shit to just keep the register ringing, and then meanwhile you're working on like a long list or a fucking analogy or whatever you're doing, that like those are the ones that really you feel good about. But do you think there's a way to like artificially, could it be a financial incentive or a fucking
See, I always,
something to
I
get people
always
back there?
look at the same.
'Cause I don't know if what you're saying is true. I don't know if like if you could be a great writer, and I think the hottest podcaster, comedian, influencer is just gonna you
No,
see their
but-
face, you know they're
Correct.
you know like
But that's, if you don't already have that, I feel like writing is step
way
one.
to get there. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
builds-
yeah.
So
they
I
just
look
want
at
to
it
get rich quick.
like
They
you're
gotta,
like you're at a place where you can build your name through writing, and that that can translate to like all of us basically.
Yeah,
built our
that's how we
profile
built
through
it.
writing.
And then people kind of want to just skip that step and go right to
Correct.
a podcast or a video,
Correct.
and it's like you don't have the
And you
following.
don't have the base. You don't have the foundation of
Right.
people actually knowing you and like kind of getting your vibe and kind of getting your.
Because if you
jokes.
have 10,000 people that watch a video right away, then that's something to build on. But if
Right.
you have 200 people that watch it, sales are going to shut it down. We're going to shut it down. Blah blah blah. But if you have that base, that's like, oh, I like this guy's writing, so I'll give his XYZ show a shot. That's how it begins.
It for sure is the best place to like, quote, find your voice.
And learn how to be funny, and
If you start with podcasting, you can pretty quickly go from like, I have a jalapeno in my ass. Yeah. Oprah.
right,
Right. Not the best example because very
'Cause it
successful,
works,
you
but-
take really sharp turns in what you're
And by the
doing.
way,
for sure.
not to lose track of how this all started, I wasn't asking, not one of the things about us, which I've always said, and Nate sometimes say, like, all right, I can't, like, hey, Riggs, be funnier. No, Riggs can't throw 97 on the black. He throws 84 down the middle and no movement, and like,
he's your number 5 starter. It's,
right.
You know,
And
like,
so just being like, be fun, you can't. This is a talent business.
Yeah.
So that's what pissed me off about Nate. He wasn't sitting there being like, you let go fucking Sandy Koufax. He's saying you let go a long reliever, but he put in the inning. It's like,
you let go the guy who needs to get let go in this situation.
right.
Like
you let go a robot.
Yeah,
That's what he was saying.
sad, but-
like, you let go a robot. Like, how are you going to sleep tonight? And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. You're saying we can't replace our middle relief in a blowout guy?
Yeah, that's
like
then
that's
the team
who
fucking
we,
stinks in
yeah.
general. It's like then why even bother?
Right.
Talk about the next man up. Like,
Yeah.
Brady didn't go
right.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Correct.
right. John's been telling the story recently that it was a time where Dave said like I can't teach you how to do this, but
Yeah. Dude, it was like early blogging days where you were just like, I can't tell you how to do this, but it's not good. And I was like,
but he just was like, all right, he scrapped whatever that blog that was, and he went back to the drawing board.
Yeah, right.
Did
And
it
you
until
can't.
it worked.
That's what I'm saying with talent. It's like people would always be like, give me your. And by the way, it's not only that. I'm not the end all be all for what is good. Like I know what I think's funny. I think I know if it's a bad blog, but there's plenty of people
shit
here that I'm like, oh, I don't really get it, but numbers speak for it. Like, I never thought Coley was a good writer. He always brings that up, but you can't teach, again.
Dude,
Go throw 97. It's like,
yeah, I can't. Yeah. I think we got to a point where I would say almost maybe more, or like 50-50 split of like, I think this is funny, and I don't think this is funny, but it's working, so go ahead, you know?
Yep.
In the beginning, it was like we all basically were the same guy with the same sort of sense of humor, so it was like, I think all of this is funny. And then as you grow and add, it was like, I don't know what that is, but it's working. Yeah.
And even here, I've overheard people complain. It's like, well, I write a blog, it doesn't get published. It's like that has been throughout a ton of blogs I used to. When I was the editor, it was half filled with blogs that just never got published.
I always say that when I started, I think I'd get 5 published a week, maybe.
Dude, it was
I was
a
doing
treat
10 a
to
day.
get blogged
Yeah.
when I first started.
Yeah, so
that, I think if, you said that to somebody today, okay, day one at Barstool, you're going to write 10 blogs a day, you'll get 1 published a day. It would be like, well, I'm not doing this.
right, yeah, I think that is
really
a
think
big.
that
They're
would
like,
be
why
like,
did I
well, I'm
waste
gonna-
my time on that?
yeah.
But that's
how it works.
Literally all we did in the early days. It was a pipeline of blogs. I'm like, you'd have fillers. It's like if we ran out, here comes a shit one. But that's just not how it went.
So
Matt Fitzgerald, R.I.P. I don't know who he is, and I'm sure he's a great guy, and I hope he gets a great job.
if I know Barstool, this is going to be like the launching of Matt Fitzgerald, and he'll be back in a week. He'll become your right.
Does anybody know who he is?
I said before we were on air, I think I've definitely clicked on blogs where I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That's exactly what Nate said.
And then
he did.
saw, like, I was like, Matt Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And it
I mean,
happened
like,
enough
that's a
times where I was like, that
long
name
blog.
rings a bell.
We had those.
Well, I couldn't.
I remember clicking saying, "Who the fuck is Matt Fitzgerald?" Because I thought I knew everybody. But we've always had a J-Mac or somebody that's just like. J-Mac was originally there to blog on nights and weekends, and then he kind of worked into the rotation, and then it became like you'll put up the tits and ass, or you put up the filler blogs, and like the world needs those, but also when you're in a crunch, the world doesn't. The company doesn't need those.
We have plenty of people to make sure we can get NFL blogs.
For sure.
Honestly.
But that's where it should all, like somebody should be like, yes, like now's my time.
And I don't know
I'm gonna
whether
go do NFL
can
right
you
now.
not assign that, Nate? Do you not feel empowered to be like, hey, you? Why?
Can you come on and talk so we can figure this out? Like Dave said, this is what we do. We talk about things publicly and we figure it out.
Yeah.
So if you think you need to be empowered more, I was just saying let's try to figure out a way to incentivize writers, so let's figure it out.
Or just pick. We have enough people that's like, hey, rotate. You have the NFL blogs this weekend.
Yeah, no, I've never been given the power to tell people you have to do this, or you have to work nights, or you have to work. Like, never been given that power.
Take it.
Yeah, now's an opportunity, bro.
There's plenty of people to rotate it where like someone can pitch in for like one Sunday every 2 months.
But more to the point, I think put out a message like this is not like an assignment or a punishment. This is your opportunity to write on a blog that's still getting hundreds of thousands of eyeballs. This is how, like we just said, this is how you build your profile. What you just said, I actually think maybe people need to hear is like, if you want to become a superstar, this is step one, and you cannot circumvent it. You can't get to step 3 without step 1 and 2.
I mean,
So
some
do
people
it as a
can,
negative.
but a lot can't.
But yes, some people you get drafted and you start right away.
right.
Some people have to work.
Totally.
So I would pose it as like this is great for you because now there's a gap that Matt Fitzgerald is not filling anymore. So go do it.
Glue of the company.
Yeah.
We lost a good one. That's what you said. We lost a good one. It's like
It's so funny. You know, he always ends up with the smirk, the Portnoy smirk. When Nate, like you always end up laughing.
Hey,
at him. That's
I
what Nate will
was
always say.
very angry.
That's
That
more
was so
angry than
funny
I've
when I
ever
heard it
seen.
ratchet up.
Well, it's like this is hell having to release people.
No, yeah, but-
And then a guy that I don't. So in my eyes, like, there's a guy I don't know who he is. He was hired for something else. He hasn't been here very long, and
That's finding gold.
the dog is coming in and being like, he was.
No, when it happened, it was like, well, I get it. Dave doesn't know him. He's not a personality. He's not a character. None of that.
You
He's
described him as a robot.
exactly. And so my question, which I'm R-worded, so I'm bad at like actually expressing like what my question is, like, do we want to focus on this, like where? What?
You were
I just want to know
insinuating
where
you don't care about
I
patients.
want to know where you're in this new world. Like, hey, like,
And
where
this
do
is
you-
what got me out.
I was gonna say you're
care
doing
about
it again.
all. I don't care about it all.
As the editor in chief, we just haven't talked like about.
I care about it all. He wasn't like fired or let go for lack of performance. It's strictly a numbers game to get us back to ground zero. So it's like when you're like, are you focused? It's like, no,
I really don't think people understand. And you said we're losing millions of dollars, but I don't know if people understand the number crunch that's going on.
Yeah.
When you look, if you are privy to those numbers, it's like, oh,
That's
fuck,
across the
something's
board.
going to have to give.
Yes.
You've told like all departments are being like, all right, let's tighten shit up.
Business,
Everyone's got to
it's
get.
production.
Yes, yes. I would say we're the safest. Like, we'll probably have the least amount, but it's still, and it'll be a rocky month or two, and then I think we're going to be in really, really good shape. But
It's not going to be.
if you're described as a robot, and I have no idea who you are, that's a tough combo.
I mean, what would you have done if it was somebody we all knew? I mean, like if that was if you went to that for Matt, you would have
Let
cried.
me ask you honestly, gun to head, truth serum, would you have kept him and got rid of Smitty?
No.
So then you see my situation that I'm
Hey,
stuck.
I
That you just answered.
it was a question that
Smitty's the
I
one who
wish-
should, like, honestly have to look himself in the mirror and be like, damn,
we love
they're
Smitty.
keeping me,
That's on my
but they're
hands.
getting rid of people who work hard. That Smitty killed Matt Fitzgerald.
I think this is a productive
Honestly, he did.
conversation that we all needed to have as a company, and now we're all on the
did.
same page, and onwards and upwards. This was an important conversation.
Multiple Matt Fitzgeralds have to be killed to protect Smitty. It's not, I wish it was a joke. Like, I've looked at that name 100 times, like, damn, it would be nice to free that up and save some other, but it's like, dude's been here for fucking ever.
If he's not, you don't get to do this though, which you love.
Well, that's what I said. It's
But then
almost
the
like
robot's
the
here.
Joke, yeah, the joke. Yeah.
I don't envy
Same
the
thing. I
robots
think, you know,
Did you hear when Smitty said he may not renew?
When?
He said it over here
Can't
when
let that
he was
happen.
mad.
No.
Well, he's not up for like
he
2032.
said that on radio too. I think the day
Lockdown
after,
of 10-year.
the day after he was on radio saying that.
55.
He was like, I'll have to reevaluate when the time comes.
Well, the second he said that, I'm like, when is this dude's contract? It's like way in the future. So, all right.
So
Glad we had the talk.
it,
Pound it up.
we were wondering when you were gonna.
He gets under my skin a lot. It's like, he's one of the things. The last thing, it's like, sucks. This sucks having to let people go. He's one of the he was a robot. I guess we just won't cover the NFL anymore.
That's a crazy thing to say.
Words happen.
I guess.
Like, he blocked.
Like that's your play in the big car. Like, I guess we just won't do the NFL.
Who?
You hold his feet to the fire.
The downfall.
Yeah,
One day. One day.
Whenever Nate has a good moment, we were all
record.
giving him props because we thought his roast was funny.
That roast was
And
funny,
we
Dave.
said, we flat out said to him, anytime you have a good moment, within like 24 hours, you overplay your hand, you do something stupid, and you ruin it. And I mean, this is the best one of all time.
Waltzing into Dave's office.
What?
Dude, if you could have heard how
I
things
said, what
ratcheted
were
up
you
in that room.
Did you hear it out
You
here?
could have heard. I was like, something's going on back there. And then I saw like 2 more people come, and then I just hear Dave go, Nate, what am I supposed to do? And then like 3 cameras came in, and Nate just slinks back to his desk.
If you hired smart people, we wouldn't have this. So.
Oh my God! Run for the hills now, Nate. You're gonna
No, it was
overplay your
tough.
hand
It almost was vaguely reminiscent when Michigan man wanted to accept that
Yes.
the girl had to go home, and his right is like, what do you want? Like,
He went home for her, right? Didn't he like sacrifice himself or whatever?
yeah.
Fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
All right, so all right, Nate.
This went a lot different than I thought it was gonna.
Well, this
Ended up being like a healthy discussion.
This is why I think though Nate and Smitty will always be safe because this is what he provides and this is good. Like he's working, he's doing this work. He knows.
Well, but I've said that many times about this. Like, I want that. I will scream at you and be over it kind of quick. I was mad. I was very mad. I was storming up there.
You rearranged the office.
I want the desk here.
Well, that is just
That's common sense.
Yeah, that has to be because there's no one that even knew this was going on. I knew.
Are you gonna get up or are you gonna stay there?
I thought I was.
Go.
Once you let Nate in.
Yeah.
What did they say upstairs when you said when you yelled, "Who made the office this way"?
They're just kind of looking at me. Like,
I mean, those people must, when you come up, must be.
I haven't been up there
in like 2 years.
Last time was when I think the Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, when you hunted everybody
when
down.
I was trying to figure out who ate the extra Chick-fil-A's.
I mean those guys, people down here get shook.
It's
and
a
they've been through the
million
war with-
fucking people up
There's
there.
A lot of people up there.
Yeah, it sucks, and again. They have to know. Some people won't be. It stinks. Again, I knew all this going in. That would be a rough And I'm sure some people, oh, you have all this money. It's like, yeah, well, I'll be out of money pretty quick if we don't fix it. It's not. We just got to get back to sustainable.
This is what sucks though. Is like, I think people think you have unlimited money, and don't realize that it's a big company. But you can't.
We have 400, 450.
And if you knew all the salaries and you do the fucking math,
right.
You'd be like, and you're being pretty open and candid about we're losing millions. But the general public or some of the people here are not going to look and get those numbers because they would go, "Oh fuck, I'm probably next."
That is what set me off. It's like to have this conversation now, right now. Like, well, we can't go to the NFL. I guess we lost our robot. It's like
if it was like things were great and money was rolling in and all that.
We never lay somebody off in that case.
You never have.
You just slide, Smitty.
Right. So you're just operating at a loss just because we basically had unlimited bank?
Essentially what happened, so these guys know this, when I ran the company myself, we made money. Like I bought my first Nantucket house before any other.
It was not a charity, it was a for-profit business.
And it's like, so everything we'd spend, but you looked, it's like, all right, well, this is my or all of our money's being spent. Chernin buys it, intent, purpose to resell it. That was always why they did it. To be honest, when I sold it to Chernin, I fucked up because our revenues weren't overly high. I could have made them whatever I fucking wanted if I was willing to lose money or jack up. And that's how they base the price of your company on. So Chernin gets it, revenue, and we start going up. It's not my money anymore. We don't really fucking care about losing money. And they base the sale on more revenue than profit, so to speak.
So like you could have a bajillion dollars in payroll and rent and overhead, but if revenue's up,
you look at these.
They didn't even look at profit. They just
look at companies like DraftKings has never made a fucking cent. Like
their revenue.
How can they operate for so long?
Uber, right? There's Uber. There's tons of companies because you get investors.
That just goes over my head.
Money goes in, and the thought is once DraftKings or Uber or whatever, once they hit that. They're not going to make a little money. They're going to make a shit ton, and all your investors get paid back. So, the making money wasn't a thing. Bring in Penn, they're $1 billion company. So if you're losing a couple million, that's a rounding error. It doesn't matter for fucking them. It's a huge company, and there's all this expense too, which will probably be removed from, Eric is dealing with making the books public. You need a lot more finance people, a lot more everything.
Regulations, all that shit.
Like her and I know I was. I was like, well, we can't spend there. It's not my money anymore. So you're growing revenue. I think from Penn's perspective, because they're already public, the sales already happened, they're probably like, let's just get as many people in the funnel and turn them to gambling, and then it's worth it. You have a very clear way to get your money back. When that starts not working, it's like, well, we're losing all this money here. We're not getting the market share we need, so what's the advantage?
Do you think if this didn't happen, I think a lot of people here, ironically, were like, oh, I'm safe now that Dave got the company back before we started to realize they're losing money.
I thought the opposite.
Right, I think you're smart, and you were like kind of like...
the fine line.
If the sale didn't happen and we just kept going, would they have started to lay people off?
All the people who we have to lay off would have been laid off in any scenario. Right. And then I think there's a whole new layer, including probably everybody on this. Honestly, the only people I think really would have been totally safe is like the PMT guys.
Yeah.
Like people that
with Penn.
Yeah.
Like anybody. Yeah.
People that they saw like, hey, we can plug this into ESPN and it helps gambling.
Right.
If you didn't directly help gambling,
I think it's like literally
very
just those
few.
And they were transparent about that. They're like, we saw that like down the pipe. Like, all right, you guys got all these pods that are kind of like.
I just had one conversation before I knew any of this happening where I still thought it's like if we can't boost market share, optimization is coming. And I'm like, I don't think you can optimize Barstool. I thought we could boost market share.
What do you exactly mean by optimization?
We can't be losing money.
Right.
Like we have to optimize financially.
Right.
Why couldn't we get more market share? Was it just the odds? Like we weren't offering good enough odds?
We didn't really push it that hard for the last year because they thought the app had fallen behind and had bad odds, and so they built a new one. And they were spending like all last football season getting this. The Score built it. And I was under the impression, well, we're going to push it. I think we'll do results. And this ESPN opportunity came about for them. And I think that's where it's like, well, we can go Barstool, where it struggled. We have regulatory issues. They fucking hate Dave. Or we have this opportunity, this is a big media company, to jolt it. So I think that's probably how they looked at
They
it.
just take a wash essentially instead of double down.
I mean, everyone was killing them, Penn, but another way to look at it is like the other gambling companies are paying basically the same amount for ads that they paid us, and they still have market share from us that they'll take to ESPN. But it wasn't working to the level I thought they thought. And when
Would
you're
you
looking
expect to be like 20% market, like competing with draft? Yeah, so did I.
no, maybe not.
I remember
It's a simple
thinking-
formula. It's like just give better odds.
I remember
didn't
thinking
think we'd
once
be
we
that
get
high.
legalized in Massachusetts and the Northeast, like not a person up there wouldn't use our app over the other apps.
Remember
I thought
Philly
And then
crushed.
I
But
thought they have the tech, but we have like the
We did.
loyalty. But I think when you're betting, if you have better odds and a better user interface,
Makes
people
a big
just
difference.
go with their.
And FanDuel and DraftKings had a gigantic advantage with their database because they were doing the
huge head
fantasy,
start. They had-
the daily
yeah,
fantasy. They're able to flip into the gamblers.
Um,
We started higher, but we really, I think, our app was really falling behind, and it's like let's
Meaning just like
I know I
tech-wise,
covered,
like
yeah.
usage of it, like,
yes,
it wasn't-
and odds. And I know
I remember
Jay
people always
at
kinda
one point
saying-
he's like, we're not going. I'm like, we were doing sweatshirt giveaways. We stopped doing that. We stopped doing everything. He's like, there's no point in spending to push people to an inferior app. Let's wait till we have the new app, which is the new app now, and we'll.
So
be
what? So what is that? That's like these other companies hire like some fucking MIT tech.
They went through the
hotshot,
same.
like,
They went through the same growing pains. Like
Yeah.
DraftKings was on Canby, which we used, and then they hired God knows how many engineers and spent years building their own.
right. So they just have this
And that's what-
unbelievable
And that's what Penn did.
brain trust.
And like
yeah.
we couldn't be like, hey, let's do this, let's change this. You were stuck in what they built. Moving forward, Penn is going to be able to have a lot more freedom, like the DraftKings of the world now.
But even if you have a shitty app, can't you just make the odds so much
No.
better that you're like, look at our odds?
We didn't
compared to
control the
FanDuel.
odds.
But Penn controlled them, and
No.
who controls them?
This company called Canby.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
Canby controls the odds for everyone, pretty much.
No,
Just
they
for
were
you.
by the end. It was Canby started with everybody,
Got it.
and by the end of it, we were the only ones on it because the other ones had.
But the point being that it's a third party that
Correct.
you couldn't say, I don't care what you say, we want it to be
Correct.
this.
Like,
right.
with the app
Because then I would just be like, let's take a little bit of a loss, but you get all these people.
The app breaks at the Super Bowl. We're waiting like on a call service of a third company to be like, what's wrong? Like, I don't know. We're working on this first. That
Yeah.
it was no bueno.
And now those other guys are in-house, or they just with a better company?
They went in house. And
Yeah, so
Penn
it's
is
just like
now
you run your own
in-house.
shit. Right.
They bought the Score, and the Score, since they bought the Score, they were building the new
bigger,
technology
better, right.
to make it a much better interface. And I think that's where Penn's like, hey, we have this new app that we spent a lot of money with the Score on. We have this opportunity with ESPN, which you can say whatever you want about them. They're the biggest brand.
Mothership, whatever.
Yep. And
And it's less of, like we said, the headache with the
Regulatory.
regulators we never
Totally.
thought were going to be as bad as they were.
Yep.
I mean, from my point of view, I remember thinking like, I am a non-gambler who is now working at a gambling company.
Yeah.
So I always felt like the writing was on the wall. I mean, I was like on the inside with Chernin, and then I never even heard from anybody from Penn. But then they changed their name to like Penn Entertainment. I was like, maybe they do care about entertainment. But ultimately, I was
I think
like,
that was when they bought the Score. So they were like,
Yeah.
we have the Score and Barstool.
I
But
just
that
remember
is what
thinking-
sent me over the moon with Nate when he came in, because I've said it, but it's like the Nates
we're gone.
are why I came back in when I thought I was out, and then he's coming in guilting me about a guy who's been here for a cup of coffee who nobody knows, and it sucks, but I don't need him guilt tripping me over that.
Right. I know you got
Weasel.
BFFs at one, so I said yesterday we were going to move on from the award show, but I didn't think we were going to have you on. This would be the first time you were on after it. What did you think of
It was very Barstool. I thought it
I
was
dying
good.
in the balcony? And
That was scary. He just.
what would we have done if that was serious? Just shut it down, or keep?
Yeah, I
like,
guess. I was like on. I didn't know what to do.
Imagine if it was like, well, we have a fake award show to keep going with, guys.
I
think you
actually
would've been there with a
canceled
mic.
my stomach.
I think you had to cancel it if someone dies.
Yeah.
I thought it went really well. We ended up with like 50,000
Yeah,
pay-per-views.
that was great.
That's another thing. This fucking company. It's like we got 1 million people. No
You know
one
what
thought
though?
of that.
I was gonna say.
I thought I literally.
That's a big problem that either we got bozos or people who don't feel like empowered enough to go like.
But we do. Like Pete is. I've described him like Hitler. He's
Right.
He's invaded every country in
Why
Europe.
why
to
that
take
guy
suck
wasn't
power.
like, let's make a few bucks.
Yeah, I literally.
We probably could have charged double, to be honest.
I think 10 was a good price.
So do I, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
Ten's a bargain, I
if we
think.
needed to make
Cool.
money and the way it went and the amount of entertainment you got, if it was $19, I think I would have been like, well.
I was in bed. The show was Wednesday, Tuesday night.
12 hours away.
I went to sleep at 10, and in my head, I'm like, how are we losing money? It was gonna be my rant, how we're losing money. I woke back up, and I'm like, hey, Pete, could we make this the pay-per-view? He's like, give me 5 seconds. And then he's like, yeah, we can do it pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why the fuck aren't we where it's better than losing money?
Yeah.
And we went from that being maybe that's why we're losing so much money. We went from that being a losing event till we made a lot of money on it.
Right.
500
Also,
grand.
that I think that like we've been talking about doing comedy pay-per-view stuff, but we haven't. It's only been sports with Rough and Rowdy,
Yeah.
and that was kind of the first one that was just entertainment. Clearly, it was a very big event.
Correct.
It worked. People liked it.
Yeah, like
So if you
Jeff
can put
D.
on-
is like, should we do the dozen? It's not,
Right.
No, I don't think
But
we should
but
do.
but
should
it
be
can
very
open up
special.
other. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. Like if I would always, and it matters. Obviously, we hadn't sold ads, so
Yeah.
or very few. If you're selling ads and
doing that
sponsorships,
shit.
then you don't want
Yeah.
to do it because they're buying it for the reach.
Right.
But if you haven't sold dick, what are we doing it for? Ourselves?
Dude, that I can speak for I think almost everybody here. If we get together, the entire company, all the personalities, everybody's dressed up, everyone's like, and that doesn't sell.
Yeah.
I was almost like,
Is it over?
Like, is Barstool over? 'Cause if we can't sell that, what the fuck can we
I saw
sell?
an email there was like clients who were invited to it, and the guy showed me an email that he wrote 2 months ago begging to sponsor it. Nobody got back.
It's
Yeah.
like-
What's the latest with the sales team upstairs?
That's going to have a little bit of a shakeup. They're going to have new comp plans, which will be, in my mind, better for them. But there's shakeup coming, and there's no department that won't be touched. Like,
Everybody's gotta-
Yeah, everybody's got to tighten up a little bit. And again, the number one thing we have is payroll, hiring. And we're doing things that, you know, I don't care about forecasting and shit like that. Someone's probably like, but like Erica had to run to a number. It's like they have goals, public company. Jay Snowden gets up on a fucking, earnings call. He's like, we expect this much.
Right.
Like, I don't care about, just tell me we're not losing money. That's the other thing I've said. I'm not trying to make more money for me, or like, I just get this thing to break even, which I think we can do. It'll be a couple months that may be a little rough, maybe not even that long. And everyone should be in a much better, happy place, because I don't care. We're not trying to like go hit these crazy numbers. We just need it to be sustainable.
Do you think that hampers, like, if the vibe is kind of like we're just breaking even, and we still got to get some new talent and grow, right? Is that
No,
would
because
somebody want to sign here being like, well, I'm not going to get a big raise or a big whatever?
well, no, because
we're,
I still expect to have to pay big salaries.
Right.
So like, our top talent is going to be still like making big money,
Right.
but that is factored in and breaking even.
Got it,
It's
gotcha.
not like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
working for peanuts.
For sure.
It's like, what is, like, I'll just throw out a name who's obviously a big star. Like, what does a PFT really care if Barstool is hitting this revenue or making, as long as he's getting
his.
Yeah,
Totally.
Right. So that is still going
And
to
especially,
happen.
well, usually, there was equity and now there's not.
Right.
There was a point of like, oh, like, go get that person and pay them because when we sell it. But now
yeah,
it's
but
like,
right. We still.
would you think about doing? I know you said you weren't gonna like sell it, but like, is there a way?
I don't
to
know.
Like equity with like a Rapoli or one of your friends or some
I
of these
think
guys
we'd have to, no matter, like, if I gave you the way I understand it, if I'm like, hey, Kevin, here's 4% of the company again, I believe that means like 2% goes to Penn from that 50.
so yeah. Oh, right.
I really
because of
don't
that
think,
clause. Yeah,
I believe
that's not really
so.
worth it.
Yeah, so it's and now that doesn't mean that we won't set up like a profit sharing within the company, where at the end of the year, you may have a like percentage of that. That's not selling it, where it's like everyone's rowing together. Hey, we made this much, and I get a cut. That's something that I'd love to do.
Yeah.
But
that's what I think. Listen, there's only one thing that we ever did consistently that was like fully incentivized, and that was T-shirts, right?
Yep.
And everybody fucking made T-shirts
Yep.
all the time because they wanted that 5K,
Yep.
and we made a lot of fucking T-shirts, you
Yep.
know. And that's a very easy thing to just boom, like sell it and make the money. I know it's different with page views and downloads and all that, but when people get, you know, incentivized, they
You want everyone to row the boat together.
Yeah,
That's
and I do think we'll get back to a place where it'll be really good for creators because, or like people are making a lot because I do want to give them a lion's share. There's a lot of things that we don't need in our new era.
Right.
So those are easy cuts, and they could be the greatest people of all time. But do I seem like I need a huge HR department? No. Do we need like financial planning and shit like that? No. So there's a lot of things that we got.
Doesn't it also make you think like, what company does? Because all, you know what I mean?
Those
Like,
public companies.
yeah, but it's just like, it just kind of complicates. I get what, you know, you need to check these boxes because of regulators and laws and shit, but it's like, all of this stuff just muddies the waters.
I mean, I had an exchange. I had an exchange.
We were, you know, it was better when we were just.
I had an exchange the other day. So Brianna was like, she had a picture come up, and I saw it on Instagram, and she's decked out in Celsius like gear.
Yeah.
Celsius doesn't advertise with us. So I hear, I'm like, what is this? What how much did you get paid? She's like, I didn't. It was a celebrity pickleball tournament. I'm like, first of all, you're an idiot. Like,
Yeah, she
I
could've
wish
gotten-
you said you got paid.
Yeah, for real.
But like, it hurts our salespeople who are out trying to do it. Fine. Talk to her. She's like, yep, totally get it. Easy conversation. Gaz sends me forwarded me an email yesterday. There's 10 different salespeople. What's this about? Can someone talk to Brianna? Let me check in on this. Nobody contacted Brianna. So I
Just go to Rihanna.
CC'd everybody. I'm like, hey everybody, introducing Brianna. She works for us. She won't bite your head off. She's nice. If you have a fucking question about what she's doing, ask her. You don't need like 30 different emails
It's crazy.
to people who aren't Brianna being like, what is it? Just fucking ask her.
trying to
You'll
get-
figure out
it's-
in 1 second.
There is no less than like 4 degrees of separation.
It's
to get
crazy.
to an issue.
There were
it's like-
10 different emails with 10 different people. What's this about? Can you check the Gaz? Gaz to me. It's like, well, just ask her.
Yeah.
Fucking ask her.
Right, right.
So that's the stuff that we can
That's
cut out
an awful lot of whining too. From
Oh, yeah.
people who didn't sell the Barstool Awards. 10 people being like, why is she wearing this
Yeah,
t-shirt?
it's like, how about you focus on like a bigger fucking thing, like the
Right.
Barstool Awards. Last thing, now that we're, you know, kind of back to where you were, is there any part of you that thought about like, if you could do it all over again, would you have not sold, or would you have?
No, I'm
turned
rich.
in?
No, like things
You
have,
said earlier, you actually had a clip earlier where you were like, I think people think you have unlimited money. And my head went to the clip of Dave going,
I have unlimited
Oh my God, I have unlimited.
For personal, for you.
Yeah,
That was before
unlimited
radio.
500
dude.
fucking
Remember, I went in and
Yeah.
I went to before radio. Right after I shook his hand, he's like, "Just do me a favor, don't say anything about money on radio."
Yeah, I
He
have
goes in and says-
unlimited personal money. If I want to take on a company of 500 people
different story.
with a fucking lease in downtown Chicago and a lease across from Madison Square Garden, I will run
not
out of
unlimited.
money pretty quick. But I think most people would. Like,
I mean, you need a
can't
billion-dollar
run.
company
Yeah,
to run that.
right.
I mean, is there part of you that's like, even, you know, you said it'll be a couple tough months, but is there part of you that's like, I don't know if this will work, like
no,
a
I know. it
one-man
will.
show?
Yeah,
I think so too.
I am.
I feel like it's. I think that's pretty rare, though. I think we're back to being like, this is one of the. I think one of the only type of media companies that could do it is maybe
Yeah,
us.
no,
because
I'm 100% sure that we'll be in a very good spot. Probably faster. Like, the layoffs absolutely suck. You don't want to do it. Like, it's the worst. I knew that going in, but we will. Like, there would have been no point
Still a
for
lot
me to
of-
do it if it's like, well,
Right, if
we're
you were
all
just
going to
taking
lose
on-
our jobs.
like,
anyway.
like when Ravel was kind of characterizing it as like Dave's taking on this company. It's like, no, it's not like a shell of its former self.
Not only that, I think
there's still a bunch of stars.
I
there's
think
still a bunch of-
if I wanted to, like, make a shit ton of money off this company, I could. That's
Right.
not what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm very happy with the spot we're in. We just got, and through nobody's really fault of their own, because we're in a different time as a public company, but decisions that would never have been made in 8 quadrillion years were made because we had different agenda and different goals. And it sucks because I'm sure some people, like, I hope nobody, I'm sure some who will end up not being here maybe left something good, and that sucks, but what are you going to do?
I also we'll wrap up a second because I know you gotta go. But like what you just said, I think a lot of people out there would just make a lot of money. Like I think people are taking that for granted that if you wanted to, you could cut a lot of people and just make millions upon millions a year, and you choose not to because for whatever reason, personal reasons, you don't like firing people, whatever. But I think people just like take that for granted. There's most businessmen who get to your level are like shrewd, cut your fucking neck. I'll just fire half this company and take 50% of the profits. See you later.
I said it in the original, and obviously you, and I don't know how much Feitelberg knows about it, but you were in the guts of when everything went down. And we, for lack of better words, Dan, you, me, Erica, reverse unionized. We we got together, it's like, all right, there's a bunch of different ways this can go, and we're gonna make sure it goes the way that protects not everybody, because it's impossible, but the people who have been with us for a long time, we will do the best we can to protect them, probably at a financial, there would have been ways for us probably to monetize ourselves guaranteed, faster, better, fail-proof, and we chose the way to save the company.
And I don't think people will get that. And I was like, I've been telling people, no matter whatever we've had over the years, that it was instantly like, what are we doing? But I think as much as it's me, Dan, Dave, Erica, like it was, squarely on you to do that. So I think people should. And
then I get the worm coming in.
That's what I mean. Listen, if somebody like brand new, this is the new Nate now. If somebody like brand new who didn't get it said that, but everybody who's been here for a while, just everybody should know that you could have taken this a very different direction, that you would have benefited a lot more personally, and you didn't do that. So everybody should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, especially Nate.
All right, we'll just end on that note.
Wait, before we end, we have to promote the Most Dangerous Game.
Most Dangerous Game.
Most Dangerous Game show tonight at 8 o'clock, hosted Rowan, Megan Making Money, Pat, Francis O'Malley, Rudy, Dana B, Jackie, Spider. I have a question about this, because it kind of goes with what we were talking about earlier. When did we stop promoting things? Like with the award show, we didn't know about things until a week before. This is probably
you mean the Blattman secret stuff? Is that what you mean?
All the secret stuff.
I don't know what that is. I have no idea.
He was like, I've been sworn to secrecy. I'm like,
this is a big show.
Why are we just tell me? This Most Dangerous Game, they filmed it months ago for weeks, and now we're just finding out about it with a week to go.
Again, these are things that'll slowly be changed, but my last email to Blattman was about our college football show, and I said, send me graphics for college football road schedule. I know you love keeping secrets, but no need to keep secrets. So I don't know where this came from.
I don't know, man. It's not. I mean, I guess with the award show, there was this vibe of like, we don't want people to know the awards because it'll be a surprise.
Every award show, they like do the nominees.
Yes, they know that, and that's how they hype up the award show.
If we got 50,000 buys in a day on that, if we promoted what the show was going to be,
200.
Probably would have had a lot more.
And I think with the reality stuff, they're like, we don't want the winner to get out. But it's like, we're doing this to make money. We can't.
Who would know the winners? I picked them like 5 seconds beforehand.
Right. And also, it was also a fake award show. It was, All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow at noon.
Blattman's another guy who Blattman, All Business Pete, and Live Events Lisa, the three that I've heard have made plays, like power plays for countries. They're like, they're playing like Risk.
Live Event Lisa is in the mix as one of the major players.
I've heard she's sneaky.
She's like Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
She did the fat pen. Not me.
That when I heard that, I said, listen, if Dave wanted to put me in a fat pen, I would like it, but I got to do it. Live Event Lisa puts me in a fat pen, I'm coming for her neck.
Decision, but yeah, I've heard she's sneaky like a power grabber.
Crazy. All right, see you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. And Most Dangerous Game tonight, 8 o'clock on the Barstool channel.
This is so fucked up, guys.
Honestly, I'll eat someone. Sleep tight.
Welcome to season 2 of Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show.
So not stoked to be here. I'm not happy. I'm not pumped. This just doesn't seem fair.
This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare.
I want $25,000. I want the fucking money.
Oh my. That's what?
It's a whole new season. It's a whole new game.
Oh my God. Yeah!
Not only are you playing your own game, You're playing everyone else's game.
I'm hearing, Dana can't be trusted. I feel like I could get the rug pulled out from underneath me.
I don't know that there is any saving you at this point.
Now I'm freaking out a little bit because it's really real, but I knew that I couldn't back out.
I need people not to be fucking sneaky, Spider.
I'm not being sneaky.
Well, what if you don't lie? I need him to tell me why he's lying.
This has broke a lot of people.
This is what I need to do. Lock it all out. I got as good of a shot, if not better, than anyone else in this game.
All I was trying to do was just shut my brain off and then pray for the best.
I have never been so angry in my life.
Your heart stops. The reality really hit, but there's no turning back. Guys, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
This is Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show. Presented by Mattress Firm.